Thank you for being here. Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Enlightened World Network. We're here today for a 7-generation healing and clearing. Teri Angel is going to be our facilitator. This is not the first time we've offered this. Teri has done this same healing session, gosh, I don't know, at least 10 times here on Enlightened World Network. And it's been a while, so we're just pleased to be providing this again. I know some of you here in the room have gone through this before, and it'll be interesting at the end to try to remember what healing took place in your family lore last time versus this time. So be thinking of that, and it'll be fun to talk about that. Teri, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ruth. What a pleasure it is to be here to do this again and to do it on Enlightened World Network, this beautiful platform that offers us so much. I was just looking back, Ruth, and 4 years ago, we did this, and we did it for 7 days in a row, which was at the instruction of Archangel Michael. And it was at a time when there was a lot of chaos going on in the world, and it was just a needed thing at that time to do, to clear that energy. And now here we are again with our world kind of in turmoil. So we're going to revisit this. And those of you who have done it before, maybe you'll have a different experience this time. So just pay attention to what you feel as we go through this. So just a little background. This 7-generation clearing and healing comes from the indigenous, and they believe that whatever we do, whatever happens in our lifetime, affects 7 generations that are coming after us. So just envision that everything you do, everything that we're doing to our planet, everything we're doing to each other, this is all having an effect for 7 generations to come, which means that we are being affected by our ancestry. And that's why it's so important to go in and do that clearing. Now, you may not experience anything as you go through, and that's fine, because sometimes it happens more on the subconscious level than it does on the conscious level. So just be aware of that. If you're not feeling anything or nothing comes up for you, that's perfectly all right. It may come up later when you can sit and think about it. So it's very important that we clear this, and is designed to shift the energies on both sides. So we're going to go into the mother's timeline, and then it will be splitting out her parents, her mother, her father, and going up the timelines. And then we'll go into the father's timeline. So we're going to do this on both sides of your ancestry. It's not even important that you know who your biological parents are, because I've had that question come up before. So we're doing this through the DNA that's inside of you. And that's the level that we're working on, is with that cellular structure of the DNA. But it's designed to shift those bloodlines back at least 7 generations, clearing any pattern of abuse, emotional suppression, helplessness, violence, or war, and then sending healing back to that energy. So once we clear what was there, then we send in the healing energy, which is just love. It's pure unconditional love is the energy that heals. So the way we start is with our breath. So just find a place that you can be with the least amount of distraction, the place that's not going to be noisy. There's not going to be a lot of traffic around you. If there's electronics on, turn them off. Turn them off so you can be fully present to participate in this. All right, so we start with the breath, and we're going to just start to get comfortable. We're not going deep into it just yet, but just relax and breathe in and feel that breath coming from the divine. Just really envision that each breath you take into your heart center is divinely given, and let it go into your heart, and then relax it back out. So we're going to do a couple of these. Breathe in again into your heart. Feel the love and release the love. Now the last one, breathe in deeply again. Feel your body just starting to be very, very present in this now moment. And in that presence, just take one moment to think, what do I need to know? What do I need to understand more fully as I go through this experience? So I want you to set an intention. What is it that you're hoping and desiring that will be achieved with your presence here today? With you participating, joining in, receiving healing, giving healing, because you are. We're all healers here. We're healing these timelines of energy. So whatever that intention is, just have it clear in your mind of what you would like to see take place. And to make it real, feel the emotion of it. If you want to clear something that's going on in your present life by clearing the energy of it in your ancestry, what emotion does that bring up? It may be a pain energy that you want to release that's a chronic, and you want to let go of that. Feel the feeling of letting it go. Okay, so before we actually begin, and I call in the angels, I have asked Dr. Ruth Anderson to guide us in something that we have learned recently that is so necessary for us as healers, as light workers, to be able to come to the table with a clear vessel to do this kind of work. So, Ruth, would you join, please?
Sure. So this morning in meditation, the angels were preparing Teri, I suppose, and I, for doing this 7-generation healing and clearing. And one of the things that they showed us is that using laser focus intuition, they use that term several times today, so I think we should keep that in mind. But when the surgeon comes in to the operating room, and in a way, we are doing spiritual surgery, really, in a way, clearing and healing energy, that the surgeon needs to be a clear vessel. And what they showed us was, in a way, humorous, but we got the message. The surgeon coming into the operating room, and on the wall, there being all of these mason jars, and each one was labeled, and one was guilt, one was grief, one was anger, pain, fear, and the last one was other. And what they asked us to do was, coming into this format, to stop and really see ourselves as that surgeon. So let's just go into just real quick visual imagery here. Picture yourself as the surgeon here, the energetic surgeon, coming into your own operating room and seeing these jars up on the wall, mason jars. And we're going to stop here, and we're going to use those jars in our mind's eye, and we are going to drop off anything and everything that is keeping us from being a clear channel for this exercise. So just picture the different jars, seeing guilt, grief, pain, fear. And let's just take a moment, each of you with your mason jars, just open them up and just give any of those emotions that you're feeling that are keeping you tied to the 3D. Just give them up. We're just going to spend about 2 minutes to do that. And if most of your feelings go into that other jar, that's great. We don't need to know what they are. We don't need to understand them or know where they came from. Just dump anything there, keeping you from being a clear channel. And when you look down at your form, if you see anything other than pure divine light, keep going with the jars. Because we've been asked to come to this as pure divine light. And when you're done with that exercise, just close the jars up, put them back up on the wall.
Hello?
And Teri, it feels like we're ready.
We are indeed ready. So if everyone would just stay muted while we are doing this, then that would be wonderful because that gives everybody the opportunity to really fully be present. And, I did the exercise before I even signed into Zoom. I cleared my vessel, and it was amazing how light I felt after I placed that energy into the mason jar. So thank you, Ruth, for leading us in that. So let's just go into this beautiful healing. And the very first thing that happens is to call in the angels. So I want you just to be present. You don't have to do anything at this moment. Just relax. And if you feel the angels as I call them in, just say hello to them. Welcome them into your state, wherever you may be. So I call upon these angels to seal the energy around you, around each one of us, and that includes me. And the first one that I call in is Archangel Raphael, coming in from the east. Raphael is the angel of air, and he brings an emerald green fire, clearing and cleansing the energy field all around us. So imagine that you can call this fire into your body. Just invite it in to be present with you while this cleansing takes place. Just feel that energy. You might feel the air move. Sometimes I felt it as warm air, sometimes cool. However you experience it, that's great. That's your experience with it. We're going to move on to Archangel Michael. Michael from the south, the archangel of fire, the guardian protector, the energy of electric blue fire. So we call that fire right now into our body, into our cells, our DNA, every layer of our light. And just breathe. Breathe that in. Say thank you to Michael for providing that protection, the guardianship, as we know this is a safe space to do this work. We're going to call the sword of Michael. We're going to call it before us. So just envision that wonderful sword of protection that Michael brings. See it being placed before you, neutralizing any lower frequency energies. And now we ask that that sword be placed at our back, the back of the heart, to protect our backs, placing it to the left side and then to the right, placing it above our heads, pointing upward, and below our feet, pointing downward, so that our energy is protected on all 6 directions. And now let's call in Gabriel, Gabriel of the West, Gabriel comes in with the energy of water, and he brings the diamond white fire. And as he wraps this fire around you, it feels like a cloak of light has just really given you this warm angel hug. This fire can absorb lower frequency energy and pull them out. So breathe in that fire of Gabriel. Gabriel brings clarity. So it's very necessary to have that cloak as you go into this energy clearing. While this is happening, we're going to call to Uriel, Archangel Uriel of the North. Uriel is the angel of earth, and his is a ruby red fire. So invite that fire now into your body, into your cells, into your DNA, as it clears lower frequency energies. These four energies, four angels that have surrounded us. You might see one or more of their colors. You might just feel their presence. Remember, it was emerald green, electric blue, diamond white, and ruby red. Sometimes I see it as a swirl. All those colors just kind of swirl around, kind of like the background behind me. So ask these angels to open and expand your energy field. And then call on your higher self to be present with you. Breathe and allow all of this to happen, your higher self, the angels, and you staying very present. We now call on 500,000 earth angels who come in to help with this process, to hold each one as we do the release for the ancestors and the energy of the ancestral lines. So the room's getting very full, and you might feel it's a little crowded, and that's okay, because we need this power behind us when we go in and do this important work. We're calling in now Archangel Metatron. Metatron comes in and brings the golden white crystalline grid from above. It contains every shape that exists in God's universe, and it brings it into the room above you and seals off the energy of anything that may even try to come through. Metatron's got us covered from above. From below, we have Sandalphon bringing in the crystalline 5D grid of the earth to rise up. And his is a silver white fire. So just envision at the bottom of your feet, there are two spheres of light, two balls of silver white light. And just allow that energy of the two spheres, one on each foot, as it protects, as it clears and cleanses and covers, sorry, I lost that word, as it shuts off anything that's not for your best and highest good. Only love and light is going to enter here, because you are protected now on all levels in the room that you are in, and above you and below you. So we're bringing in these energy of these grids. And we just started with Sandalphon. This is going to be a clearing of your energy field. And since you have already released what you felt was necessary to let go of, now you have a clean vessel, and we're going to open up all those channels. So we started at the bottom of the feet with those two beautiful balls of light. Now we're going to let it travel up. So envision those two spheres traveling up to your sacral chakra, opening, cleansing, balancing. Just feel that energy as you open up to the white silver light, releasing anything that's not for your best and highest good. And just breathe. Breathe into that sacral chakra and watch it as now the light goes up to your solar plexus and opens that up with these spheres of light covering you and bringing everything into alignment. And it's moving quite rapidly now as it goes from the solar plexus up to your heart. Feel the energy there as it opens, releasing anything. There may be something that was trying to hide from what you released earlier into the jars, and it releases anything that it finds that's not of love and light. So now we're going to call down the golden white fire from Metatron. And Metatron is going to clear and open your crown chakra. And this is happening in one sphere of light. All the rest were two. This is one sphere of light coming from above, opening the crown, clearing, healing anything there that needs to be moved around, the energy movement. And so breathe that in and watch it travel to your third eye chakra. Again, breathing in from the grid, releasing any energy that's not serving you as we breathe it now down into the throat chakra. And in the throat chakra, you're going to open up to be able to express, to be able to communicate and understand the communication that's taking place. And then it finally moves into the heart, anchoring there with that earth energy. So you have this beautiful channel now that's been opened up, the energy inside of you from the earth up to the higher realm of the divine. This allows the flow of light into your body, light from the earth and the sun, so that you are a clear channel of light. And that's where we're going to enter into the streams. So it's time to begin our work. We're going to go into the lifelines of first the mother side. If you want to hold the energy of your mother in your mind's eye, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay too. Just know that there was someone who birthed you, and that is in your DNA. So right now, let's enter into that ancestral line. So I want you to step back one step in your mind. If you want to do it physically, that's great too. I've done it both ways. So step back one generation, and this is your mother's line. So feel what's there. Just feel into the energy. Maybe some of you are getting images. Maybe you're just getting the energy of what's happened there. We don't need to know the details of what happened, but sometimes that is shared. Sometimes we see things. We see maybe what the trials and the challenges were in that generation. Again, it's not necessary. Just know that you're here on purpose. You set an intention, and you're here to release the energy of that generation. So you might receive a name or intuitively hear something going on there, and that's fine. Whatever happens in your experience, that's the way it's supposed to be for you. Just know that these bloodlines have existed on this 3D plane at a point in time, and that's where we're going. We're going to that timeline point to clear. And that's our whole purpose of being here. We're not doing it. We are the conduit. And that's why it was so important to release and to open up that channel and set our intention, as you did earlier, to let the angels release any energy that's not of love and light. Anywhere there were vows of poverty, of war, of violence, anywhere there was anything, any cord or agreement or attachment to the 3D that does not serve the best and highest good, this is what we're clearing. This is what we are releasing. So see this tree line being bathed in the 5D energy from the crystalline grid of the earth, and see that there's many, many energies here. It's not just your ancestor, but all that were in that generation. We're focused on your ancestry. So feel, if you will, if there's anything that you're hearing, to release, and just say, I release this with love and light, with ease and grace, and give permission for that 5D energy from the crystalline grid of Metatron to come in and flood that generation with love and light, making a shift in the energy there. And now you're going to keep stepping backwards, go back another generation, feel the energy. You're going to repeat the process. So as you feel into this generation, see if there's anything that comes to you. Is there a word, image, a thought, an intuitive thought? And just flood it with love and light. Invite that 5D energy from Metatron's crystalline grid to come forward into this generation. We're going to keep stepping backward until we've reached all 7 generations on the mother's timeline. And when you've reached that 7th timeline, just start to come forward. Take the 7 steps forward to where you are right now in your present moment. You might want to glance back. I've done this. Glance back and just see if you can see sunlight, if you can see that beautiful energy from Metatron's grid that has gone in there and changed and created a shift. And now we're going to go to the father's bloodline. So once more, you're going to step backward one time. See if the energy here is different for you. See if there's any names, anything that comes to mind. And if your father, your biological father, is still alive, just say thank you. Thank you for being present in the generation that you grew up in. And let's clear any energy, any discordant energy that might show up for you in that timeline. Because some of our fathers were in wars, some were in a depression, some were in very much poverty. So whatever you feel as you go in there in that timeline, just ask for that 5D energy of Metatron to come in to clear energy here. Continue the process as you step back and go back 7 generations. And then step forward to your present self. And we're going to go into that experience with the angels and ask for any vows of poverty or anger, anything that's unlike love. We're going to ask for all those vows to be dissolved. We're going to ask for cords to be cut that traveled down the 7 generations from our ancestors to us. Feel that shift as you do that. You may see Michael cutting the cord. And if you're not experiencing that, you can ask him to cut that cord. But see if your energy feels a little lighter as all of that heaviness is neutralized. So now as you look at these 2 trees, in the earth, going off at different angles and bathed in the crystalline light from Metatron. Just watch as an ultraviolet fire around the Earth Star chakra begins to neutralize any lower frequency energies that tried to come in from the bloodlines that you just experienced. And some of that energy will try to linger, but you are protected, and these angels are actually helping to keep that at bay so that none of that energy will flow into you where you are. And if you were experiencing prior to this some of those lower vibrational frequencies, ask now for Metatron to remove that from you, to let it leave your body, your mind, your emotions with ease and grace. So let's just pause here and let's say a prayer, praying to the Creator and being very grateful for the experience that the angels have walked us through, that they've helped us with and guided us with. And let's just release any thought of guilt, shame, blame, anything other than love. In a lot of these timelines, guilt, shame was very present. So let's release that, releasing our ancestors from having to carry that burden, bringing in that light of Metatron to really expose that there is nothing to forgive. There's nothing to be sorry for. There is only love. I've used the Ho'oponopono prayer before when I've done this, and it feels very powerful. I was shown just this morning by Jesus that there's no need to ask for forgiveness. That Ho'oponopono prayer is just to release the energy. So if you want to do that, we can lead that at this time. There's 4 phrases to it. And again, you're not asking anyone for forgiveness. You're just asking to release the energy that might have been present of that low vibration of shame and blame and guilt. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And there's something so freeing in just saying those words, just releasing the energy that it no longer exists on that level and it no longer exists in you. Again, recognizing that it's not about any person, it's just releasing the energetic impact of what happened through those generations and anything that transpired during that time. So let's neutralize, with the help of the angels, all agreements, all programs, and unresolved energies that do not serve your highest good, your soul's path, or those of your descendants. Let them be dissolved into source light energy. We ask that all vows, agreements, contracts, any karma that does not serve our best and highest good be released and canceled. Releasing all of these to source light energy on both sides, the mother and the father. And then when that's done, we're going to go beyond that 7 generations. We're going to ask for all of it to be released, going all the way back to infinity. So as we cancel and dissolve all of those vows, all those agreements, feel the freedom that's you now released from any energetic impact of all of that. Ask the angels and your higher self and Sandalphon to clear the blood covenants in the DNA, anything that you're carrying as far as genetic energy, anything that came forth from your ancestors into you, ask for that to be cleared. Set that intention to clear any damage that was passed down from generations, clearing the bone marrow and all blood producing parts of the body, clearing any chemical interference that was harming your blood, clearing any disease memory in the body. Now breathe that out. And let's call on Metatron and the healing teams to send a soft, healing golden light into the body. Ask for this healing light to touch all aspects of your physical body. And watch as this healing light goes back through your timeline to your young adult years, your adolescent years, your young childhood years, and back to you in the womb. This is important. So visualize that healing light and send it all the way back to the bloodline of both your mother and your father, sending this healing back 7 generations, healing the bloodline. And then send it back beyond those 7 generations, back to infinity. And now, holding that vision of that soft golden light, send it forward 7 generations. All of the descendants coming forward. And maybe you don't have children, biological children, but you've touched lives just by you being here on the planet. So send it back to or forward to any descendants coming after you. Take a deep breath in. Just hold it for a moment as you feel the healing that has taken place in your body. And you may not even see it yet. It may take a moment, it may take a day, a week, a month, but hold that belief in your heart that this healing has gone into every cell in your body. It's been given the instruction to heal, to bring those cells back to their original blueprint of working perfectly so that all of your organs, your muscles, your blood, everything in your body is receiving this healing touch. Now release and relax, and let's go into some gratitude. Gratitude for these angels who took time to be with us today to perform the healing and the cleansing and the clearing. So we want to thank Metatron and Sandalphon, and we ask them now they can release those grids with gratitude. We're so grateful for you to bring those in, to hold this space for us, releasing the intensity of those grids. We thank Uriel with his ruby red fire. We thank Gabriel with the diamond white fire, Michael with the electric blue fire, and Raphael with the emerald green fire. So we release ourselves from their energy now, and we thank them for the work that's been done here. Thank them for the healing that's taken place and that will take place in future generations because of what you did here today. So as you breathe, just let your breath soften, let your body become more aware of where you are and what you've been through, and come back to the room that you are in with your breath. Just breathe normally. Begin to feel your physical body, being aware of where you are and what we're doing here, and opening up to what happened and anything that you would like to share or process from what we did today. So anyone that would like to come forward to share, you do not have to have your video on to share, but you do have to unmute. And if you would raise your hand on Zoom, there's a way to raise your hand to indicate that you would like to come on. I would like to invite Ruth to come on with me for just a moment.
Hey, Teri, do you want to record this part?
You can close the recording, Sue. Thank you.
I think you have to do it.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
There we go. Thank you, Sue, for that.
And Teri, why don't we go off of live on custom streaming service, just so we can have a small group time?
Thank you. Let's just do an ending. Thank you, everyone who joined us. And this is something that whenever the angels say to do it, I say yes. So I'm sure there will be future ones. And if you would like to be on the live with us when that happens on the Zoom call, then you'll get the information how to be included in the Zoom with us. But we thank you for being with us today. And as always, we thank Enlightened World Network for hosting.